If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hey, welcome back to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, Sarah Bishop. I'm your host. I'm recording this part 2 right after I recorded part 1, and I apologize if I was talking like so fast because I was so excited to get this out. I probably was like, you guys were like, oh my God, slow down, girl. But maybe you could have like slowed down the speed on the player. Again, I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier to listen to. As far as my excitement and like reeling it in, I'm kind of one of those people, if like I have a good night's sleep and I have coffee, like I'm like the Tasmanian devil up in here. So, but anyway, this is going to be part 2 of the content creation and how it combines into artists' worlds, or anyone's world that wants to be visible and seen and get their message out. Last episode, we talked about the method that I've been using to keep myself sane and have it work, which is like the DCCCC method that I created and is not clever at all. But we talked in the last episode. So if you're hearing this, right, and you want that practical strategy of how like things that are like gatekept and secrets from the people who already have the big platforms and are already actively working and doing these things, like if you want how to get there and like once you get there, what to expect and how to make money from it, like that is in the previous episode. So you might want to listen to that first. But just to recap, this DCCCC method, which again, title's terrible, but it's to teach you to detach, to be curious, be creative, establish connection, and have consistency. And if you do those things, like you will pop off and you will grow your audience. As long as you're staying integrity and authentic. We also talked about like, you're going to be a beginner, you're going to suck at it. So like kind of holding these things at the top of your value system of like why you're doing it and getting clear on why, like, why do you want a big audience? Like, what are you trying to share? You got to have something to share, whether it's your art or your message, or you're trying to connect with people and help them, or maybe you just want to be famous because you want to be visible and you want to be funny, or you want whatever it is, guys. You got to be clear on that. And then if you use the DCCCC thing, detachment, curiosity, creativity, connection, and consistency, it will work. Okay. What we're going to talk about today is the hurdles mentally, emotionally, and in our nervous systems that happen once we start to do this. So this is going to be that mentality aspect, okay? The inner world aspect. How do we keep ourselves as healthy as possible? And how do we keep ourselves in the game and keep our joy and keep the focus of why we're doing this in the first place? And before I get into it, I want to just, again, I'm kind of just teasing this idea, mostly because I'm excited. I'm not really supposed to talk about it yet. But the end of the last episode, I talked about how if you really like this, like you like hearing the strategy of the behind the scenes of like, no, this is actually how you do this thing. Like, here's a top expert that is already doing it, that is teaching me the actual steps, like something that like I had to pay thousands of dollars to learn. Okay. And you recognize as an artist, like maybe you're hitting your head off the wall, like your mental health is a little unstable, you're losing the joy and love of what you do. You just want help to return to the whole point of why you did this in the first place. You want it to work. You are recognizing that your inner world and the support system that you have from other artists and the way that you're taking care of your brain and your body and your nervous system, you're recognizing that that is just as important as the talent and practical skills that you have so that you can stay in it. You're going to need to stay tuned, guys. there's something it's actually, I'm so excited and so terrified because I just know at the core of my being, guys, this is so important. And it's missing desperately. It's missing desperately from every artist. I don't give a shit if you're a painter or if you're a sculptor. The support of not just the practical strategy, because let's be real, like all of my offers so far, right? They're all about like the practical training. Everybody produces products about the outside world, about the functional thing, right? You can find 10 voice teachers that have like, find your mix. No one, not a soul maybe some people, I can't speak for everyone, but no one that I've seen is creating a container for artists to heal and to work through the bullshit that exists in the entertainment industry. You're just on your own. And I mean, we're talking about things like artist money story. How do we get out of starving artists? I'm talking about things like finding your creativity again when you're blocked AF because you had like an artistic baby, like it fell through. How do we find our joy again? How do we find creative community? How do we move through visibility? Right? How do we handle in our bodies and our nervous system when our dream comes true? How do we rehearse our body and our nervous system in our head for our dream coming true? This is huge. And there's fragments of it that exist, but I'm like, no, like there's different programs that like they address the mind stuff, they address the strategy on their own, but there's nothing that combines it. And that's what I'm all about. And that's the purpose of this podcast. And that's going to be an even deeper, even more in-depth, even more handheld approach for this new container, this new offer. I am so pumped. I feel like all of the work that I've done so far in providing you the functional training and starting the podcast and speaking out, in bringing on, and I have a list of people that I want to interview, all of this has accumulated for this moment of this container, of the true way of healing the deeper artist, of releasing you guys, of helping to nurture you so that you can finally be seen as the great people you are, the great creatives you are. Let's work through this stuff, okay? So anyway, you can tell I'm excited about it, right? We're going to be marrying practical strategy with inner world support. Right? When you get the big gig, how do you keep going? How do you heal what's inside? How do you move forward? How do you regulate your nervous system? I mean, every single month is going to focus on something different. There's going to be a whole library of things that are going to support you in your mind. Anyway, I can't give too much away. But if you're getting excited, if you're like, holy shit, because any of my friends that I've told about this, like my professional friends, like who've already had gigs, like they've been starring on a CW show, or they're in horror flicks, or they've been in Wicked, or like all of these people, they're like, oh my God, this is it. This is the missing piece. This is the piece that artists have to stumble through and figure out on their own. And I just believe it can be easier. It can be clearer. It can be streamlined. You could be supported. Anyway, I'm begging. I don't need to beg. I'm just so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I like can see how many people this is going to help. So again, without giving too much away and what exactly it is and all of that, if that sounds exciting, please stay tuned. It is in the works. We are developing it. I am bringing forward people that have expertise in this arena, so that again, we can prep your brain, your nervous system, your body, and rehearse for the success that you want. It's not really life coaching. It's strategy meets like, let's help your brain through all of this too. Because no matter what, every artist everywhere gets mind effed by this whole process. Okay. And what we're talking about today is just like a little teaser of some of the focuses that we'll have in this group, right? This group is huge. It's all encompassing. But anyway, if you like what this is, please stay tuned in the future for that release. Okay. 10 minutes of like babbling about the same thing, Sarah. Okay. We're going to wrap it up and get into the meat and potatoes. Okay, today we are talking all about the mindset, and the mindset's a really general word, but it's more about like the very real challenges that people face when they start being visible. especially using content creation and social media. Okay. So the first thing I want to validate, and I said this last time, is like, we have to get over our unwillingness to do it. And that's going to trigger people. The kind of like get the F over yourself kind of thing. That's triggering. Okay. But I want to acknowledge that this resistance that you feel is so real and normal. Okay. And the reason you're doing that is your body is trying to keep you in survival. It's trying to keep you safe. Because even though our conscious mind is like, oh, I want to be visible and I want my art to be seen and we might think, like, you consciously are probably like, I don't have a fear of being seen. I perform on stages. It's like, no, girl, we're not wired to have millions of followers or thousands of followers even. Like, you have to think about like caveman brain. Like, we're only wired to be perceived by like 50 people, okay? And I've talked about this in stage fright. Like, without a doubt, you're more normal if you are afraid of big crowds, okay? That's actually more normal. And the more crowds that you get in front of, the more it may trigger your nervous system into fight or flight and then like sabotage. Okay. And it's because it's trying to keep you alive, because as humans, right, if we are perceiving danger, like, we are not wired to be perceived by that many people. And we go, oh my God, what if all these people see me and then I get canceled and then I'm going to die? Okay, and that's what I mean is this fear of being success. So there's an element to all of this of like, what is the underlying story? And you have to get clear on this. And this new container that I'm talking about will have a whole program inside of it that works on what we're talking about today. But anyway, that's step one, is acknowledging that getting triggered and being in resistance is actually a good sign, because it's showing you that your brain is like, this isn't safe. Okay. And then we have to figure out how to move through it and take messy action anyway and help our brain, reprogram our brain while regulating our nervous system. And then you'll start to be able to grow your capacity for handling a large audience. But I'm going to share about what it's like to actually have this large audience and what it like physically did to me and to so many other people that I know who have big followings, and like, what are like the mental and emotional realities of having this, and what are the real challenges like internally that you will face as you grow your platform, not just from like, oh, I'm going to post for the first time, which is like a big first step to begin with, but like what happens when it starts to like pop off. The other thing I want to mention before I dive in, and it kind of has to do with this, is if in your resistance, okay, you find yourself resenting artists who have done this already, okay? I need you to check yourself before you wreck yourself for being so for real. If you are being a bitch, a catty girl, okay, you're looking at other people who are starting to book jobs because of their platforms, or that's what you see it is, like, oh, these people have all these followers and blah, blah, blah. I know it's frustrating. I know you were told that the trajectory that should work for you is I'll just show up at auditions and that will be enough. And then I'll be swept off my feet and get a job. Okay. Again, this is triggering, but I need you to be so for real. No one is going to save you, and things are pivoting. So you have two choices. You can continue to be stuck in your little poopy diaper and be angry at people who have already actually bravely put in the work to be seen, have been creative this whole time, have followed those steps that I told you, and it's paid off. And now they're able to leverage it. I need you to look at that and say, am I just really jealous that they are pursuing the thing that I know deep inside I should have? And instead of continuing to sabotage yourself and blame them and say they're not talented. Okay, but like, I know, okay, I will say this. There are some of them, like the stunt casting. I'm not talking about people that don't have talent. Okay, I'm not talking about people that's like, girl can't even hold pitch, like the Cameron Dallas of it all. I'm not talking about that. Okay, I'm talking about the people that do have talent and the influencers that pop off, and then they end up getting plugged into shows and they're actually really good. It's because a lot of them are just like you. They've just started to leverage being seen, and they've started content creation early enough that they are now ahead of the game, and they have that marketing attached to them, but they put in that work, guys. Like, do not shit on them. That is like I can't stand that. if you're jealous because you want that same thing, instead of being like, it shouldn't be like that. Like, I hate that. Okay, great. You hate it. That's your feeling. And why don't we find it to be empowering again? Because what other choice do you have, dude? Well, you're just going to sit there and be pissed off that they're getting jobs over you, or you're going to fucking do something about it. The other thing is, and I've been commenting this a little bit and making some things, we're going to talk about how hard this is to be creative and be a content creator and marketing and business. And yeah, I know it's not fucking fair. Okay. I'm not trying to say this is fair. I'm just saying this is how it is, and how it's really hard to not like overwork or blow your nervous system out or maintain your creativity. Like, this is not an easy road, guys. But also, to have an extraordinary life takes extraordinary action. Most people aren't going to do this. And that's why there aren't most people who have what you want. Okay? And we've always known that. We've known, like, quote unquote, like making it or being visible or having an audience or being famous isn't for the weak. You know this. But the cool thing about it now is you actually have more control over it. As long as you learn to show up authentically and be consistent, all those steps that I talked about in the last episode, you are setting yourself up for success. And you're setting yourself up to connect and get your mission across and hit all the people that it's meant to hit. Okay. So when you're resentful of people that already have the thing you want, let's actually take it as inspiration and proof that you can have it too. If they can do it, I can do it. If this person can do it, I can do it. Oh, I'm recognizing I'm just as talented as that person. Cool. Now let other people know about it. Put it somewhere. Embody who you know you are. Show teams that they can trust you because you're one talented mother effer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, take control, take the power back. If you're triggered, notice it. That's interesting. I'm triggered because XYZ person got this job over me because they have this many followers. Okay, stop being a victim. Start getting seen. Start practicing. It's going to be bad. You're going to suck at it. So start. It comes down to, if you're saying you want something, then why don't you just take the action instead of complaining about how you don't have it yet without taking any action? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't screw yourself over. We ultimately want to be seen. But like I said, like, if you're feeling resistance and you're feeling fear, that's actually very normal. So the hurdle no one's talking about is you have to address the stuff that's going on inside in your nervous system so that you can continue. Okay. Because they're, like I said, like, you got to start. Like, this is more for the people that are resisting starting at all and are just like shit talking it. Like, that's who I'm talking about. But now we're going to start to address like what actually happens when stuff starts popping off, or you make the first post, and like what to anticipate, right? Because you're not going to know until you know, really, until you start to do it. But at least this can help like set you up for like a little bit of an understanding of like how to approach this. Because again, this is also very new, right? Like this development of nervous system, neuroplasticity, working with your brain, regulating yourself, is actually so new. And I think that's why most people, like, there aren't better people who are famous, you know, like kinder people. And again, this isn't everyone. But a big reason why I think a lot of like narcissistic like assholes like do well in this business is because you have, like, in order to keep going, like, good people they're not typically like that obsessed with themselves. And like, there's a lot of stories around fame and visibility. And it's like, oh, who am I to do that? Like, so like actually good-hearted people, they do have a fear of success because part of it is like a humility factor, right? And so the narcissists do well because they don't care who they have to hurt or get through to blah, blah, blah. Like, they're going to get the thing, right? And they're obsessed with themselves, right? So it's like part of this nervous system and neuroplasticity thing is helping you take your good personness, and make the good people famous. But good people aren't going to naturally be good at this. Okay? Good people aren't really naturally good at making content. So this is the system. This is the hack, right? You have to look inside, and you have to get real. You have to take messy action, and you got to work with your brain and your nervous system. Otherwise, you will stop because your mind is going, I have to survive. This isn't safe. You have to teach yourself that it's safe to be perceived authentically with your message from a kind heart. You have to know that at the end of the day, you are lovable and what you're saying is important and will help people. Do you understand? So like,
because narcissists move to the top because they don't have this problem. They just like shoot past, like their nervous systems don't go into overload because they don't give a shit. Okay. You are going to care. So we have to teach you how to regulate this and manage this. And again, another reason why I'm so pumped about this container, because it's going to do this and it's going to make the right people get their art out. Finally, I'm so sick of like good artists, like staying in the shadows, yo, like let's help you get visible. Okay. Anyway. All right. And I kind of just said this, but like one of the first hurdles is getting real with your fear of being seen. Okay. So if you're feeling resistance because you're mad that someone else has it, or you don't want to have to do it, or you're really afraid, you really got to acknowledge that. We got to start. And again, in this group that isn't announced yet, like we'll have actionable things of ways to uncover this for yourself. But right now it's like, I really want you to look inwards, because most people will go, I have a fear of being seen. Yeah, you do. Otherwise, you would already have the thing that you want. Okay. And the more stuff, like, here's the thing. When you start popping off and people see you, why the internal work is so important is because basically, like, having visibility to an extent where like thousands or millions of people are watching you, all it does is it's a huge mirror, like, especially the trolls. That's why I talked last time about like, you have to look at it as everything is neutral, or you can look at it as a mirror as to what triggers you. So like, basically like when I have popped up, and I'll share my story here in a second, but like when I have popped off, if I was triggered by negative comments, I wasn't detached from them. I wasn't looking at it neutrally as data, but I also, it was a mirror reflecting the worst parts that I already felt about myself. And that's what was triggering. And that's what sent me into a nervous system spiral, because I didn't have like the facility or the container or the resources to help me regulate through that. And what ends up happening then is if you get so triggered, you actually end up, to protect yourself, right? Because you don't have the support in your brain and your nervous system, you end up closing down, and it's like you sabotage the visibility that you have already, because you're like, oh, well, if people see this about me, then they're going to comment this, and I am a piece of shit, so I should stay small. And then you're going to shrink back. And this could be like little exercises. And actually the interesting thing is the more that I integrate and embrace like my shadowy parts, the things I'm not proud of, I get to the core of that. I do the inner work and I look at the things that I'm getting triggered by. I look at my insecurities. I look at where I'm blocking myself. And the more I get real with those and I hold space for them and I feel through those and I accept them about myself, the less they actually appear in comments, or I see them and they don't trigger me. Okay. So it's really about your ability to be triggered as you're triggering other people. Okay. That's more or less what it is. You got to trigger people to get their attention, right? I said this in the last episode, but triggering content, either in a good way or a bad way, like I want to be you. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Or I disagree with this, blah, blah, blah. All of that creates engagement, and engagement is what causes videos to pop off, which gives you visibility, which you can leverage. So the more that you can take care of your internal world and help your nervous system from going into fight or flight, right? The more you get real with your actual deep down visibility wounds, the more you actually pop off, the more people you'll connect with, and the more people you will help. Okay. So now I'm going to give like a really real scenario. Okay. So this is going to incorporate something somatically, which is some nervous system work, neuroplasticity, and also messy action. Okay. So I think I mentioned this last time. Last year I got serious. I was like, okay, I've been consistent. I'm getting better. Like I've been posting for a couple years before that, but I was like, no, it's time to take it up to the next level. I'm going to post once a day. And I was following like the curiosity, let's just see if this works, all of that, yada, yada, yada. Got really good at it. Started having things pop off like consistently. And I was like, oh my God, it's working. Oh my God, it's working. Like this is becoming fun. Okay. I had also just started doing somatic work, which means that I was learning how to be like more present in my body and the emotions and trauma that my body had been holding from the past. And I was giving it space to be healed and let go through therapeutic practices. I also, in all transparency, was doing parts work, which was helping me confront all of these inner beliefs and things that I believed about myself deep down, that were being mirrored and triggering me on the outside world, throwing me into fight or flight. Like I was giving myself support from professionals to help my body and my brain get on board with the vision that I had for myself. But I couldn't just do it,
keep pushing on the way that I was pushing on because it wasn't working and I was capping out and I was getting frayed and then I was sabotaging. And sabotaging in this sense looks like, oh, you stop posting, your energy gets weird again, you're not showing up authentically, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's really important, especially if you want to authentically stay who you are and stay in integrity, is to get as clear as possible and to work through your shit, right? And especially at this day and age when we want people that are authentic and honest to be the ones that are thriving, right? Like there is no way around this. Like you do have to look inward or it will confront you, spook you, and make you small again. Okay. So this is all of that stuff that I'm talking about. And again, in this new container that I'm offering, you're going to get all of those steps that basically it trains you for the things you desire. Right? It's training your brain and your body and your nervous system for all of these dreams that you wanted to come true. It helps you hold them and continue to expand and feel safe inside of yourself. And we all know what happened in the 90s and to people who are famous. If you pop off, and this happens, you pop off before you are ready or your nervous system knows what to do with it. We have Britney crisis. That's what happens. We have Lindsay Lohan. People who are young, who don't have the container, who were taken advantage of. They don't have the support they need. There's stuff going on mentally. Like this is hard. And you subconsciously know that. So instead of being like, well, I'm never going to do it because if I have success, then I'm going to get canceled and then I'm going to end up like Britney Spears. Instead of doing that, there's new developments on this, on mental health and brain space and nervous system stuff that will actually help you get where you need to go. But you need to follow this way of managing yourself so that you can get the success you want. And the first step is, how am I afraid of being seen? What am I afraid of happening? Am I going to get canceled? If I get canceled, will I die? Like all that stuff. Oh, my family won't love me anymore. Oh, if I have this visibility, all my friends are going to leave me and no one's going to love me, or they're going to think I'm a fraud, or I can almost guarantee you there's some kind of story. If you haven't popped off and you don't have the following you want, there's something going on inside your head. So A, get clear on what that is, okay? 2 is you have to allow yourself to feel it. You have to allow yourself to feel it fully, all the way. And this is where somatic practice can come into play, okay? You have to let go of the charge. Okay. Once you feel it, the charge will loosen. And then there's space. Okay. So basically we identify it, we feel it, and we regulate ourselves while we're feeling it, right? So you're breathing through it. You're helping to regulate your body so you don't go into fight or flight again as you're feeling the scary thing. Okay. Then we replace it with a good story. And this is where the neuroplasticity comes in. All right. We take the old story that's living in our subconscious and we put something new there. All right. Again, all of this is going to be in this brand new thing. It is so exciting. I think I'm probably talking too much about it as far as like giving you too much information before it's public. But anyway, I'm just so freaking pumped. But this is it. So you put a new story. I'm safe to be seen, or whatever it is. Okay. You work with your brain to put it in there. And then finally, you take messy action. You take messy action. Like I said in the first episode, you take the strategy, you do that. And then guess what? Taking the messy action is going to trigger you again. You're going to have to go back in. You're going to have to regulate. You're going to have to be with the feeling. And then you're going to have to put the new story in. It's the system that works. But this is like a proven way for you to work with yourself, give yourself love, give yourself support so that you are, again, rehearsing for the visibility that you want. So anyway, I was doing this for myself somewhat last year. I was taking the messy action and I was trying my best to feel through things. But at a certain point, and I knew this consciously, okay, but I got a little bit messed up at the end of the year for 2 reasons. One, I was aware that I was saying something controversial, but I don't think I had the space and support quite yet to grow into that. Okay. So like I said, like you're basically like with each step and each time you go viral, you're basically going to expand your ability to like hold this amount of people watching you and the backlash that comes with it. So you kind of want to like slowly titrate, and don't push yourself too far, because then again, you'll shrink again and you'll go into like a visibility hangover, and you'll want to hide. So the first time I popped off, like it was weird. I just want to say like the first time you go viral is always weird. It's crazy. Okay. And it doesn't feel real. And that's because like to a certain degree, it's not.
one way that I like to phrase this when you first go viral and you're getting nasty comments or blah, 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 XYZ, and it's like things will surface for you to heal. And it's your job to look at them and heal them. And especially when you have a wide audience, like it's like almost a spiritual practice to like be going into this, because it's going to show you all your shit. Okay. So like when I first popped off, I was like, oh, like this is so weird. I'm being perceived. And I did go into like nervous system shutdown. So that was my first signal of like, okay, I need to give myself this support. I started to get a little bit better at it. And then we started to look at, we started to take the control back from people that didn't deserve it, right? So like, I like to use the analogy of video games. So if let's say like, hey, like you're trying to apply what I said before, you're not looking at positive comments or negative comments as they're all neutral. If that's not working for you, because it's really hard to do, what you can do is like reframe it as like, hey, most people that are going to comment are like NPCs, like a video game. Like they're not like, you're not really going to engage with them a ton, right? In real life, like in your life story, they're just an NPC. Like they're not that important. You don't have to assign their opinion to have value, right? It could be like, oh, you went up to them and they're like, and then you're just like, you punch them in the face and you move on in your head. You know what I mean? So one thing that was really funny was like, if you got a particularly hurtful comment, my DJ who was on this podcast, he was like, oh, you know, when I played Roller Coaster Tycoon as a kid, because all of this is like a video game, like simulation, it's just a game, right? If someone complained about my roller coaster, I would put them in the T-Rex pit. Like, oh, they don't matter. Click, mental, you go in the T-Rex pit. Bye-bye. Or you can mentally, like on Sims, you can just like put them in the pool and delete the ladder. I'm not condoning violence, guys. I'm just saying, like, mentally to keep yourself sane. Like, these are like fun ways to like take the power back, because people will trigger you. And as we're healing these stories, it also is helpful to like reclaim the overall purpose and like really like we don't have to take this personally. Like that actually kind of is a choice, okay? But if it is mirroring something, if it does trigger you, that's actually an invitation that is just mirroring something you believe about yourself or you're afraid of. So that's another invitation to go do the inner work. Go be with that pain. Go sit with it. Regulate your nervous system, rewrite the story, and then return and keep going and keep taking action. The next thing I'll talk about is when, this last year thing where the fall of TikTok was about to happen, like the ban. And I was like, oh, I think I want to test my limit. I want to see where I am with that, which was a conscious decision. I knew it would stir up shit. And I asked people and they were like, I mean, you can. And so I had been doing so well all year. And I was like, you know what? I am going to say something because this is important. And you know, I think I feel resourced enough to do it. Well, I pushed myself a little too far, okay? And it was the video that was like talking about Ariana Grande's jaw tension, which is objective. I mean, it's literally, you can see it, right? And the whole purpose I said that was not to rip on Ariana Grande. Like, I think she's an amazing singer. It's just a matter of the actual purpose was I personally had listened to Idina Menzel growing up. And she is a little shouty sometimes. So I, as a little girl, was like, I need to sound like that. And so I actually got myself into a lot of trouble because I was trying to impersonate her. And that caused a lot of pain for me over my life. Okay, not Idina's fault, but me as a young kid trying to copy that. So I looked at the Ariana Grande thing and I was like, I just could foresee in like 5 years all these kids coming to me with their freaking jaws all messed up because they want to be Ariana Grande. And I just wanted to be like, hey, don't do that. Like, she's great, but don't do that to your jaw, because like that is going to hurt over time and that's not how you do it. So just so you know, right? But I knew it was going to be controversial because Ariana Grande fans are actually feral and insane. And it was the next level for me to be mirrored back all the things that I was afraid in myself. And it sucked. Like, if I'm honest, like, it's not fun. And then you have some people were just like, you know, it's interesting because if you don't actually believe it, it's not going to make you upset. Right. And so that's what I mean. This inner work is important because then you kind of become invincible. If you've already accepted everything about yourself, then no one can really hurt you. But I was just a parent where I hadn't accepted things about myself. So, so people were like, you're ugly and only old people care about this. And I was like, I mean, okay. That didn't really bother me because like,
I mean, you can see, like, I don't really care so much about my appearance. Like, sometimes I'll slap a filter on, but like, you don't see me being obsessed about like lip injections and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, that doesn't bother me. Like, I know I'm cute. Hey. But I also, like, I'm not Victoria's Secret model. Like, you can put me in a bathing suit and I'll look hot. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, that doesn't bother me so much. And then the old thing was just objectively incorrect because I'm literally the same age as Ariana Grande. So I was like, I don't even look old. I don't even look old. So like, also being old is not a crime. Like, what? So like, anyway, like things like that, like didn't bother me. They were more funny. But it was the people that were like, who do you think you are? She's like a Grammy award-winning artist and you're a piece of shit. Like, people, when people started saying things like that and like death threats and stuff, it was like, okay, like you deserve to unalive. Like, I was like, oh my God, I just said relax your jaw for shit's sake. Anyway, when things like that will happen, and when they do, what happened to me is I was okay, and then I wasn't. And then my nervous system shot. And I went into fight or flight, and it's like I couldn't stop thinking about it. I felt disconnected from my body. I also had friends visiting that weekend, and so I feel like I couldn't like do the self-care that I needed to get through it. So then what ended up happening was like I was like, okay, bind this up. Like, I don't care what witchcraft we have to do, but like stop it, right? I had my sister go in and start deleting comments because like I couldn't see them anymore. Like I was like, I can't stand this anymore. I considered deleting the video. I didn't, but I considered it. And I feel like I bound it energetically. I was like, no, this has to stop. And because Amanda had been deleting comments, it stopped pushing the video. And I was sad because like I actually didn't want Ariana Grande to see it. Like I didn't want it to pop off that much that it like, not that she would give a shit, but like, you know, I wasn't trying to criticize anyone. It was just a matter of education of like, just don't do that personally because it will mess you up. I don't care what she does. You don't copy her, right? So anyway, all that happened. That spooked me. And then the TikTok ban was happening. And I feel like I started self-sabotaging at that point. And so then all of the work that I had done up until that point of posting consistently for a year, I was like, I do need a break. Which, when I look back on it, like, I did need a break. Like, it had been a big year, but I had to, like, accept the consequences of stopping the consistency meant that the algorithm was going to stop pushing my videos, and I was maybe going to hit a lull, and that's what happened. So I, like, kind of stopped posting in January. I was tired. I had also been pushing because I talked about last time about, like, how do you actually make money with these platforms and leveraging these things? And I make money not from like brand deals or views necessarily, but by conversion. So communicating the things that I have to help people and letting them know about them and doing sales and like, you know, engaging and making content that also has to do with my products so that people buy them and so that I can live my life, right? Because I try to do a lot of free things, but like at the end of the day, I am a business and a person and I need to make money to operate the business and make some money. And as a new business owner, most of the money goes back into the business. So like at the end of the day, like I don't make that much, guys. Like I would like to, because if when I start to, I don't even want to say that because I do, and I want to use it. I do want to make more money because I want to use it to make more free things. But in order to make free things, you need funding. Anyway, so I'll use my content to talk about, I talk about stuff on here too. And it's more just to let you know it exists so it can help you, right? And I can make money because then I'll make more things for you. Anyway, so I was tired from doing that because it does wear you down. It wears you down a lot. Like you have to build stamina for that too. So then I ended up stopping posting for like a month and a half, and then coming back. Oh my God, it just felt like I had to reapply all of that stuff that I talked about. Like I'd lost my momentum. My energy was all jacked. Like what was the combination of resting, but also continuing to run the business and continuing to be seen and continuing to hit the goals. And that's the tricky part, guys. Again, an extraordinary life takes extraordinary action, and you're not always going to want to do it. But that's what I mean is if we have a system in place to help you move through the resistance and the discomfort and give yourself care so that you're not just being like, I'm burned out and I'm just going to like push through anyway. It's like, well, that leads to sickness and illness and crash out, right? So it's basically this new thing is going to help give you those support tools and even support from other people that when like you will inevitably sabotage like I did. Even though I did need rest, I needed rest in a way that I wasn't sabotaging all the work that I'd done, right? It's hard. It's hard, guys. So then getting back on the horse was kind of painful, but now I feel like I'm finally in a groove again because I'm applying what I was telling you back on part 1 and detaching from the views or how it goes viral or whatever. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. What matters is that the right people are seeing it and that you're staying integrity in your message and that you're staying consistent. But if I could go back, I would continue to make content, but I would give myself more space to ground and to work through the somatic stuff and I would be more disciplined in my self-care of it all. And it's hard because it's the winter. We all have like seasonal depression. We can't go outside and like regulate in the woods with seasonal, like when it's so cold out. I mean, you can, but I was resistant to doing it. But anyway, I'm proof of like, it's natural to go through this resistance. But again, if you want the big thing, if you want your message to be out, like these are the steps that you do it. Okay. And again, I'm hoping to make it easier and to streamline it, but like, this is how. And hopefully you'll pop off because you're taking great special care of yourself and you're nurturing what you have to say and you're nurturing your art and your body and your vessel and you're helping yourself become more visible so that the right people see you. One of the last things I'll mention here is one of the hard parts in the resistance that I was feeling like starting to be consistent again was, again, having a difficult time, like really figuring it out as I went, balancing the very masculine energies of running a business and posting and pushing with the feminine energies of being creative. So another reason why I kind of stopped posting was like, I want to be creative again, but I was kind of in like recovery mode. So even in recovery mode and I'm coming out of fight or flight, like I just need to be connected to my body, which isn't necessarily a good space to be in that more feminine energy, that more gentle, creative energy. And again, this isn't gender. It's just feminine energy being softer, more creative, more fluid, more gentle versus masculine energy, business pushing, fire, like that kind of thing. So I think another part of the reason why I kind of sabotaged a bit was I was really dealing with burnout and knowing that like my feminine side, my creative side was kind of needed some TLC, but I like didn't give myself enough time to really nurture the creative side. I just recovered and then like went back to it. So anyway, I just want to point out, like, I never said this shit was easy. Okay. Like, you're always going to be doing something extraordinary and weird. Most people don't do this. Most people aren't like artists promoting their music, guys. So you have to figure out a way to balance both of these things. And you're gonna lead to burnout. But the sooner that you notice that you're burning out from all of it, the more likely you're gonna be able to recover from it and help yourself and give yourself the resources of like professional guidance to help keep you sane. Because if you burn out and you go too far, you'll start to get sick. And that was something else that was happening to me at the end of the year around the time where this nervous system shut down Ariana Grande video happened too. Was like I was being confronted with, hey, you have to change the way your business works because like you're going to damage your instrument from talking and pushing and working and not getting enough sleep and all this stuff. Like it was actually making me sick. So again, it's like, okay, you could push and push and push and push, and then you're going to get sick and then you're going to have to figure it out again. So anyway, none of this is easy, but let's hopefully make you something that gives you guidance and at least some resources to help you regulate and keep going and take care of yourself and then keep going. Nurture your creativity and keep going. And that's the trickiest part is like all of these things need to be happening and it's more fluid. Like it's gonna like ebb and flow. Anyway, that's pretty much the messages that I want to get across on these 2 episodes is the very real inner work of uncovering the stories you have associated with these fears, regulating your nervous system as you're really feeling through so that you can make space and let them go. And then filling it with the right thing, the right story, the person you want to be, the thing you actually want to achieve and becoming that person that actually gets that thing while taking messy action. And if you interchange all those steps and you return back and forth, then doing the practical steps of the DCCC, right, detaching, all that stuff becomes easier. And it's like this system that you're kind of going back and forth, right? The messy action is part 1 of this, right? But the internal world and the internal work is just as important as the strategy of the messy action. Because if you don't have the inner work and support while you're taking the messy action, you'll just sabotage it and go back to how you were because your brain is trying to keep you alive, right? So
all that to say, this 2 parts, insanely valuable. Holy shit. I hope you liked it. Oh my God. This is like everything that I learned about being a content creator from the hard knocks of figuring it out, combined with thousands and thousands of dollars and hours with top business professionals who have been mentoring me to expand my visibility in my business. I'm excited to share it. I hope you liked it. And please, if you're noticing like, hey, I need this too, keep in mind that this new thing is in the works, this new container where it does exactly what we talked about. It gives you that strategy. It gives you the actions. It tells you what to do. And then it also helps you nurture and reprogram your mind and regulate your nervous system and more or less internally rehearse for the things that you want to come to fruition so that even though it's never easy and it's scary, it becomes a little easier and more streamlined and more clear as to how you can support yourself through programming of audio tracks that will exist to help you with that. From each program will address struggles that every artist goes through. So there's going to be like a program internally inside that you're going to be constantly able to work through, along with introducing special guest experts, possibly some live calls. Again, I'm giving way too much away, but I'm really excited about this. So if you dug what we just talked about, this is the next thing for you. Please keep your ears peeled. If you're so excited about it, let me know. Possibly I'll start a wait list for this thing. And I'm just really excited to help you. So I hope this was great. And I hope you feel good and validated. And also you have some steps and a little bit of compassion about if you've been trying this, how hard it is. And with all of that, I will see you next week and have a wonderful rest of your day.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.